Hi, I'm Chantel, and I did my project on violence and health issues against women in America and India. Demographics of health issue affecting women. Violence on college campuses is a major issue that is often underreported due to embarrassment and fear. This mainly affects women as the number of sexual assault cases are steadily rising. These incidents may take place on campus, in dorms, or at a local house party. This issue disproportionately affects women because of societal expectations that place women in a weak and vulnerable stage, which therefore allows men to take advantage of their power. In society, men are seen as cool for having sex with a lot of women. These incidents affect the health of women, and with sexual assault cases rising, this means that the number of health issues will rise too. Sexual assault statistics. 81% of women, compared to 43% of men, have experienced some form of sexual assault in their lifetime. 1 in 3 female victims of completed or attempted rape have experienced it for the first time between the ages of 11 and 17. Only 25% of sexual assaults and rape were reported to police. About 50% of female victims of rape reported being raped by a partner. 40% of female victims reported being raped by an acquaintance. All of these statistics show the disproportionality that women face when it comes to sexual assault and societal problems. In this graph on the left, it shows how campus sexual assault victims describe their assailants. The purple column indicates forced sexual assault, also known as rape, and the yellow column indicates incapacitated sexual assault. This means that the individual could not give consent, whether that is if they were unconscious due to alcohol or drugs, and so on. This graph shows that sexual assault and rape commonly occurs by a friend or acquaintance. This is shocking to learn because it does not make sense how an individual could do this to their quote-unquote friend. This is heartbreaking news that can cause many people in society to develop trust issues, as these statistics show that you have to be careful with who you trust. In the image to the bottom right, it states that 1 in 4 women experience sexual assault while in college, and 1 in 16 men experience sexual assault while in college. This shows the disproportionality women face against sexual assault on college campuses, which is emphasized throughout the presentation. History of violence against women on college campuses. Sexual assault on college campuses has been a historical issue that affects the health and well-being of women. In America, it wasn't until the 1970s that society began to see this phenomenon as an issue, and the government started to work with universities to help combat and prevent sexual assaults and rape. This period was known as the Rape Reform Movement, where laws were put in place to help victims and reshape sexual violence consequences. The government passed Title IX in 1972, which allows students to report any sexual misconduct by protecting them against sexual abuse on school property. In the 1990s, the government passed the Jean Clary Act, which ensures that all institutions receive financial aid or Pell Grants to make their crime statistics available for the public to see. In the late 1990s, the Violence Against Women Act was passed, which provided effective responses to sexual violence. The act was enhanced in 2000, 2005, 2013, and 2019 to help create safe spaces for students by improving their health and well-being. These laws and policies have developed today as prevention and punishment are more strict and severe. Etiology of this issue. It is important to learn about the causes of sexual violence against women to further understand this topic. Individuals are shaped by their culture and the values, behaviors, and attitudes associated as a result. Culture is a big aspect in society as it shows communities a certain perspective. The stigma of gender roles contributes to the causation of sexual violence against women in college campuses. Men carry a sense of entitlement and ownership when it comes to interacting with women. Women are seen as toys or properties in society, as this is a traditional viewpoint that is shown in today's world. These images are provided to help grasp this concept that I'm analyzing. The image to the left shows a guy who looks very interested in this girl. He says, "Hey, do you want to hang out?" She replies, "No." And he then says, "Great, let's go." It is clear that she does not have any interest in him due to her facial expressions and body language. She seems irritated and uncomfortable. The man is acting as if he could do whatever he wants, as his shirt says, "No means yes." This is the mentality that many men have, as they believe that they can control and overpower women. The image to the bottom right shows a girl who reports being raped and the University of Virginia administration disregarding her. They say, what'd she say? University of Virginia is great. Our basketball team is ranked. She wants some grapes. We tend to procrastinate. This is the portrayal of how many, if not all, universities have acted towards female victims of sexual assault in the past, and some probably currently. This is due to reasons including protecting their reputation and therefore avoiding societal rejection. Physical, emotional, and social consequences. Sexual assault among teens and young adults are associated with a lot of negative physical, emotional, and social consequences. These implications consist of sexually risky behavior, pregnancy, interpersonal issues, substance abuse, depression, PTSD, and a lot more. Women who are sexual assault victims experience a lot of abuse on their body after an incident. Research even suggests that women who are victims of sexual assault are likely to be re-victimized in the future due to the habits they begin to adapt. These poor habits, as stated, result in the detriment of their bodies physically and mentally. Relevant statistics and prevention. Sexual assault and violence against women on college campuses are a lot more common than the public may think. It has been reported that 1 in 5 female college students have experienced sexual assault. Women have been constantly facing barriers when attempting to access prevention and treatment. Since these incidents often go underreported due to embarrassment and fear, it is likely that this is a leading reason for a lack of reports. This fact causes women to avoid treatment. As the history was discussed, many universities steered clear of sexual assault cases because they did not want any reports to ruin their reputation. With new policies and practices placed, women are allowed the opportunity for treatment and prevention. Demographics of countries. America and India are the focus countries for my project. In America, women are twice as likely to experience depression than men. This statistics relates to violence against women on college campuses because physical trauma causes mental health issues. Mental health issues are common for women in college due to traumatic experiences involving sexual assault and the reality of societal expectations. Violence affects women at a higher rate due to the stigma of social, political, religious, environmental, economic, demographic, and educational factors. Gender roles or gender-based stereotypes are a social, political, religious, economic, educational, environmental, and demographic factor that contribute to this health issue in America because of cultural beliefs that attribute men to power and establish gender inequality. Regarding quality, accessibility, and efficiency of care, the U.S. ranks 7th under Australia, Canada, Germany, the Netherlands, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. Violence against women on college campuses occurs throughout the world due to the stigma of power that men obtain. Back in 2013 in India, a student was brutally gang raped on a bus in December. Unfortunately, this resulted in her death due to the severe injuries that she sustained. This led to the Criminal Law Amendment Ordinance, which was signed by Pranab Mukherjee, the President of India at the time, and imposed stricter penalties for rape. India's societal expectations are very gender-based and a lot stricter compared to gender roles in the US. The gender-based stereotypes in India are social, political, religious, economic, educational, environmental, and demographic factors that contribute to this health issue targeting women. This is due to cultural values that uphold men and grant them with substantial power as the severity allows men to beat their wives. In India, women experience sexual assault due to the strictness of cultural practices in their environment, which defines a key factor in the contribution to this issue. Among 195 countries, India ranks number 154th, which further proves how detrimental this health issue is to women in this society. Cultural similarities and differences among women. Women in college share many cultural similarities, such as clothing trends, common activities, and more. These factors contribute to the violence and health issues among women. In America, a typical college woman can wear revealing clothing, which might give off the wrong impression. Risky clothing can display and emphasize the sexual parts of a woman's body, which may sexually arouse a male. Common activities that women indulge in, including gatherings or parties, can put women at risk of sexual assault due to the environment surrounding alcohol and drugs. Alcohol plays a major role in the topic of sexual assault, as it can impair a man's thinking and make a man do things that he shouldn't be doing, or make a woman unconscious and allow a man to take advantage of her. Alcohol is very common and actively used in college, hence why violence against women is very prevalent among college students. A statistic suggests that at least 50% of student sexual assaults involve alcohol. These prevailing social-cultural factors make violence and health issues on college campuses a problem among women in the U.S. Health effects that arise as a result of sexual assault include sexually transmitted illnesses, unwanted pregnancies, injuries, mental health disorders, and more. More and more policies are being placed that provide women who are victims of this issue appropriate health care. This shows a break in societal expectations as the stance of women's empowerment is beginning to act for gender equality. The impact of cultural beliefs on women's health and well-being in relation to this issue is detrimental because of society's expectations that influence inequality. Cultural similarities among women in India. In India, women's culture is driven by family, religious, and freedom values. Parental pressure, the role of religion, and limited freedom controls how an Indian woman lives their life. For example, women in India are restricted from going out at night alone due to safety concerns. Religiously, women go to the temple every day to respect and give thanks to their culture. India is a very strict country that upholds their values to the highest. So, why is sexual violence so common against women on college campuses in India? The public complains that there are not enough police and therefore a lack of public safety, which provides perpetrators to easily target women, especially when they are away from their families at college. Women in these ages also experiment with clothing, and provocative styles are common among college students. This reason relates to universities in America, as women wear clothing that reveals large parts of their body, and therefore this contributes to sexual violence. Ethical considerations and action. Currently, there are many programs implemented to help survivors of sexual assault on campus. An individual may seek medical help and/or mental help through a therapist that a university may provide. There are recent programs to prevent sexual violence, which includes mandatory lectures and assignments based on rape, consent, harassment, etc. The #MeToo movement was started in 2006 to help young women who have been affected by sexual assault. The movement was designed to guide survivors into speaking up and standing up for their rights, as society sets an expectation that makes women feel the blame for sexual violence. This movement has been spread throughout many universities globally to guide in the prevention of sexual violence against women on college campuses. In the U.S., the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, has been dedicated to the prevention of sexual violence on college campuses, which would require a shift in culture and climate. Meaning, this organization has been focusing on the implementation of behavioral changes, and that begins with perceptual beliefs. Their plan of action since 2016 has been to identify the core problem of sexual violence, guide in the prevention, help schools provide adequate responses, and then improve the government's Title IX enforcement efforts. Northeast Network, NEN. In India, the Northeast Network was created in 1995 to help fight for women's rights by bringing a change to society. This organization has helped gender equality in this country by encouraging and inspiring women of all ages to go around societal expectations. NEN has become a platform for women to share their voices and address their rights. As this helps women across the whole country, it especially targets women in colleges as they suffer from sexual violence at a higher rate. This activist group advocates for all of the survivors of sexual assault by criticizing gender issues and promoting gender equality. Prevention strategies. Prevention strategies to help promote and advocate for women's health is the responsibility of society and organizations across the world. It is important that society enforces policies, which has recently been shown throughout many universities implementing rules. These rules consist of utilizing data, designing an approach, developing a response, partnering with an organization, and working to address the problem at hand. Organizations must reach communities by promoting equal rights and providing women with opportunities and access to healthcare. From all that was stated, some ethical considerations and constraints that may arise when attempting to implement change can consist of confidentiality and backlash from powerful men. Many participants may want to keep their involvement anonymous to avoid societal rejection due to stereotypical norms. To clarify, some people may want to hide their involvement in prevention strategies and the advocacy in order to fit into society. During implementations, some men also might become enraged as their power will be reduced in the success of these movements and organizational attempts. Men might become mad at the fact that prevention strategies for women will create gender equality or move more towards that, and they might want to try to do things to stop the advocacy for women. Men might begin to speak out against certain changes. Summary and conclusions. Violence and health issues against women in college campuses is a major and rising problem through society today. This is the result of cultural beliefs and practices that cause societal expectations. These beliefs are traditional and refer to men obtaining power, which is then shown and practiced in society through many aspects, such as politically, economically, socially, and more. Men control these aspects at disproportional rates. Societal expectations set roles that people feel pressured into following to fit in and be socially accepted. People in society want to avoid rejection, and to achieve this, they follow the standards set. These expectations put women in a huge disadvantage and provide men with power, as mentioned. On college campuses, sexual violence is prevalent primarily against women, which then sets them up for rising health issues. Sexual violence is common in college due to factors relating to alcohol and separation from families. It is unfortunate, but it is the reality However, many prevention strategies and promotion and advocacy is striving to help women and gender equality. These are my references, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.